All right, let's try this again. I don't know if the other one posted or not, but I got 30 seconds in and it cut me off. So I'm choosing to believe that the universe is not telling me that I shouldn't issue this challenge, and in fact, Wi-Fi is terrible. So let's try this again. What I was saying before that inspired this challenge was relationship. I was in a conversation with a buddy of mine that I served with in Iraq back in 2003. I love this guy. He challenges me. I think the world of him, and he struggles too because finding a veteran who doesn't ever have difficulty transitioning out of the military, and I will be astounded. I'd love to meet that person and find out how they made it through without having difficulty transitioning to civilian life. Because when your identity gets taken away that fast and that radically, it's hard to adjust, right? So one thing that came up was he asked me how I got to this place in healing that I'm at now. And that struck me because in reality, what I'm doing with Project Echelon is the fruit of that, and I'm trying to help other people take that journey that I've taken. But one of the pieces that I haven't addressed is the physical activity and trying to get that message across and explaining how that was the foundation, amongst other things, getting me going. So, what does this say? We're still, okay. I was like, thinking we're going to get cut off again, so disregard my confused glances down. So what I came to realize was the way I got started was I was in a pretty bad place, and I had all these goals. None of them were coming true, and every 3 months I fell apart. Whatever it was that I was pursuing, it lasted about 3 months, and then I just came unglued. And I found reasons not to keep trying. And then I remembered how badly I wanted to compete and finish in a triathlon, but I never found the motivation to do it. And one day, I was gifted the entry fee to triathlon, and I registered, and I worked my butt off, and I completed the triathlon. And in doing so, I learned so many lessons about life along that road. Because when we go running and when we go and be physical, we have to really engage in our mind, and we have to fight really hard, not only physically, but mostly mentally, to not quit. Because when we get uncomfortable, we have to find the way to push past that discomfort, and over that hill of discomfort is where real realizations, real takeaways, and real growth can occur. And no matter what, if it's physical or psychological. So, what I want to do, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to take me up on this challenge. I want you to take me up on the challenge to share this so other people can hear the message and take the challenge as well. And I want us to get real. So what my challenge is, I want you to think very hard about this. In the next week, do something that is very uncomfortable physically. If you can't run, go for a walk and push yourself harder than you've pushed yourself in a while. Go further than you've gone before. Get up earlier than you've done before because you've tried to get up early in the past and it is like the biggest war you've ever fought. Like whatever it is that makes you uncomfortable, take on that challenge. If it's running, run faster, run longer, run harder. If it's biking, bike harder. Just find a moment where you can push yourself beyond what you thought you could do. And then when it gets uncomfortable and you want to quit, push a little further. And while you do this, keep this perspective in mind. When we push ourselves, the experience is actually a metaphor for how we conduct our lives in all aspects. If we want to quit running up a hill, where do you want to quit when you're running up the hill? For me, it was when I was close to 90% up the hill. I wanted to quit because I was almost done with it. And I just wanted to quit. I didn't have it in me anymore. Some people will quit right before they even start it. They don't even want to do it. It's a direct correlation to how we handle ourselves in the real world outside of exercise. It's a powerful exercise that we can do psychologically. And it doesn't take a lot of money investment or time. Just get out there and try to push yourself. And when you do it, really reflect on what's happening mentally with you and how that can correlate to your daily life. When you take on a project that's too big, or when you run up against a conflict and you don't want to have the conflict, you rather avoid it. Is there a correlation between what you do physically and what you do relationally? I would venture to bet you're like me, and there is a correlation, but you're not going to find it until you push yourself. So my challenge is to get out and push yourself beyond what you thought you could. Even if that's doing as many push-ups as you can and then doing 3 more. Even if you have to take 2 minutes to do 3 push-ups after you've reached your limit, do it and succeed. If you have to go to your knees, do it, but finish it and tell me how you feel after. After you do it, during it, or in close proximity to the finish of that workout, I want you to get on Facebook and cut the safety net. I want you to get on Facebook and press live in the moment and share. That's the scary part. People can push themselves, but when they are vulnerable and raw in front of the world, that's what gets scary. It was scary when every time I hit live because I need to be perfect. That's what I thought. But there's no safety net when you're live. People see it. You can delete it after, but whoever watches it live is going to see it. And when that happens and you're not perfect, and you are raw, and you are vulnerable, and you really address some of the failings that you felt and why you wanted to quit, and that might seem like weakness to you, but when you do that and you find out that the world doesn't come crashing down around you, when you find out that your friends don't unfriend you, when you find out that your friends, your real friends, aren't going to slander you on Facebook and comment like, you sissy, what a big wimp, like, come on. You know, they're not going to do that. You might actually find some support you didn't even know you had. That's what happened to me. And when you realize that we can be vulnerable and we can be authentic and we can get rid of this highlight reel and actually shift our highlight reel to being our failures and our vulnerability to share, that's when we're empowered. Why can't we redefine hashtag highlight reel for when we're real? Like, the highlight reel is not my clean floor. The highlight reel is the fact that I've got a bit of a mess to pick up, to be honest, and I've got some dishes piled up. That's my highlight reel. That's my real vulnerable self. I'm not hiding. I've got some stuff here to put away. I've got some vacuuming to do. I've got a vacuum cleaner laying on the floor, and I've got that stuff to straighten out. That's my life, you know? This is actually a good situation right now. Like, it's usually worse than this. That's my highlight reel. Why can't we share that? So I challenge you to share that highlight reel. Get vulnerable. Get rid of the safety net. Go live after you've worked out, after you had to push through some barrier that you've never had to push through. Even if you fail, get live and say why you failed. Just hit live and tell me how you feel. Tag Project Echelon in the post. If you don't like us, I mean, I hope you like us, but if you haven't physically liked us, go to Project Echelon and like our page so you can see what other people are saying after they take the challenge as well. I'm going to do that too. So please consider taking this challenge this next week. Get out and push yourself in some capacity that you usually don't do. And then break through those barriers and tell me how it feels. Tell the world raw and real how you feel and what you learned about yourself in this process. Because I promise, if you keep the perspective and realize that what we do in our workouts is a direct correlation to how we live our lives when conflict comes and when difficult things come and when trial comes, we can learn immense amounts of information about who we really are and where we need to do our work. Will you take the challenge? I hope you will, because the challenge is what started me on this journey and is why suicide is no longer an option for this veteran. Suicide is no longer an option for this daddy. Suicide is no longer an option for this son, this brother, this husband. And it all started because I took the challenge of myself to push myself beyond what I thought I was capable of, to get incredibly uncomfortable, to cut the safety net of perfection and just get real. No more masks, no more hiding. We need to raise an army of people who are willing to be vulnerable. That is the echelon. People who want to cut the crap, trying to be PC so that if any kids happen to hear this, they're not hearing me curse. But you know what I want to say? We got to stop it. And this is your first challenge. I hope you accept it. So get live after you've worked out, whether it's yoga, whether it's weightlifting, stretching, yourself beyond what you thought you could do in a yoga workout, in a run, in a bike, in a swim, in a whatever. You don't have to do an Ironman. Just go out and walk down the street faster than you've ever walked before, run faster than you've ever run before, and don't quit when it gets hard. And then get on Facebook afterwards, immediately after, when you're in the moment, and hit live and tell me about it. Tell us about it. What did you learn? That's how we start changing this culture. Get vulnerable. And remember, when we work out, our failings, our hurt, our desire to quit is directly related to how we do our life. It's been true for me, and I promise it's true for you if you get to that level of authenticity and just give yourself the grace to not be perfect. I'm not. You're not. And we don't have to be. So will you accept my challenge? Again, tag us. Hit, I don't know all of social media, but if you hashtag highlight reel, hashtag Project Echelon, tag us in it. I want to hear from you. And so does everybody else. And when you realize that other people are doing it too, you're not going to be alone anymore. We're all pushing, civilians, veterans alike, active duty service members. It's not just one group of people. We're all in this together. So go to our page, like it, share this video, let other people take the challenge and decide to come on this journey with us. We're raising awareness, and we're trying to set the bar higher than it was set before. And the bar is no longer perfection and success, as the world describes it. It's not about money. It's not about power. It's not about vocation or any other self-identifier. It's not about any of those things. Because if you are not connecting authentically with who you are, nothing is driven out of love. It's all an act. It's a persona, it's a mask, and we all wear them, and they slip from time to time, and that's when we get real, and that's when the subconscious mind, unconscious mind is desperately crying out to be heard. And it happens really, really often when you're pushing yourself beyond your limits. So get out there, push, get uncomfortable. Share this video so others can do it as well. I'm going to be doing it with you. And I can't wait to hear from you guys. Raw, real, vulnerable. No BS. Hit live, cut the safety net, and tell me how you feel after you've pushed yourself beyond what you thought you could. I'm looking forward to it greatly. Thank you.